One of the things that I do very well is develop systems that simplify work, automate consistency and quality, and produce better results for my clients. I'm going to share with you a little today how you can do the same, especially in areas of marketing. And I'm going to introduce you to a new method I put together called the bingo card method. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips, and the reason I'm sharing with you this particular method is because it illustrates the lessons that are necessary to help you create copy faster, to write copy that converts, and to ultimately connect with buyers rather than a lot of what people are doing today. Now let me explain. On the YouTube, for example, content about how to use YouTube and how to make money from YouTube, the YouTube business opportunity, is heavily promoted by YouTube because it gets more videos online, and it stresses high quality videos, it stresses volume of videos, it stresses all the things that benefit YouTube. Now, because the majority of people using YouTube, including small businesses, including copywriters, including other marketers, want to reach an audience that we know exists on YouTube, they are enticed to do YouTube's bidding, to essentially, as one creator discussed, work as an independent contractor on a commission rather than working for themselves. What I want from my clients is your ability to transform freelance work and any writing activity into a revenue stream for your business, preferably a $1 million plus agency. Why do I say agency? I don't say agency necessarily as the Madison Avenue agency. I say agency as an ability. The ability for you to create copy consistently and deliver for customers so that you can increase your client base, so that you can have more consulting and 5-figure opportunities, so that you can build, again, a 6-figure agency. Now, how does this happen? Well, first off, to have agency, that means control over your day-to-day life, control over your income. That agency comes from systems. One of the things I do very well is I can observe somebody doing work. I can look at how the industry does work. I can optimize that, and I've been able to do that for clients to create $300 to $400 million in new sales. Now, again, majority of my clients already have high transaction value and a willingness to measure. If you're a copywriter or a marketer, you don't want to be doing business with people who don't have any money and are not willing to measure, because they'll only have their opinion about the quality of your copy. I want to work with individuals who measure cost per lead. They're actually doing lead generation. They're building their own media. I want to work with individuals who have actual sales, $1,000 per transaction net value. I want folks that have a large number of transactions over the course of the year. It's very easy to get to $1 million if you have $100,000, $1 million transactions. So if we take systems with the right clients and we put them together, we're able to build methods or models. These methods or models are very simple to implement for you, but it also gives you a package to offer to customers. So if you want to offer larger packages, the methods, the approaches, the models allows you to plug in content. Stop writing single press releases. Nobody makes any money sending one press release. Stop writing single lead pages. Nobody knows what works or what doesn't if all they have is one lead page. Stop writing individual sales letters, because it's difficult to increase the sales of even a working sales letter if all you've got is the one letter on page. Remember, your clients are hiring you because either they don't have the time, the knowledge, or resources to write copy that sells. So when you come in there, if you're doing a one-off, you get less money and they get less value. Typically, it'll take 7 to 9 contacts with a prospect in order for them to make a yes decision to become a lead or to become a customer. Now, they might get some of those contacts in the organic market space because they've went to Google and searched for a certain piece of information. They may be in a certain phase of their buying decision. So some of that content may show up when they're kind of considering the problem and they want to get more information about the problem so they can start deriving a solution. It might come when they're deriving solutions. It might come just when they're gathering general information. But again, It isn't one piece of content and then they magically buy some 5-figure service. It isn't one piece of content and then they run down to the dealership and buy the vehicle or buy the piece of equipment. It isn't one piece of content that causes them to pick up the phone and schedule an appointment with a selling professional. If your customers don't understand this, a model helps demonstrate the value of your system for getting leads and producing customers. Now, even if you're just in the content world and you look at Agora Press, you look at a lot of these big publishing companies, they don't just sling content up onto their website. They actually have analytics in place, testing, and other factors. Now, there are two kinds of copywriters. There's a copywriter who just writes, and then there's a copywriter who writes copy that converts. Copy that converts comes from the important information we know about the customer. So it could be a customer avatar or a buyer persona. The important information we know about their struggles and the chaos they face. The important information we know about their products and services. And so developing a system to gather this information, and that's so you can give it a fancy name. So I put together a methodology based on the new uses of artificial intelligence. So I essentially took an old method for doing research and gathering information and building that binder that's very often useful for you to create sales copy, to create leads that are worth having. I packaged that into what I call the bingo card method. This particular method helps you overcome that writer's block when you're working with a new client. Now, one thing about this, and I've talked about this in the past, is that these binders that we're creating are audience-based. So you can create a binder for example, I have binders for affluent customers. If you're writing copy for affluent customers and you want advice on how to position yourself, how to get higher ticket sales, I've researched that over the years. I've built that over the years. I've spent hundreds, even thousands of hours putting that together so that when I sit down to write copy, I just write copy. And then after I've written copy, I just create leads. And then I just produce sales. I don't have a lot of hemming and hawing about it. That's why I can deliver better value to my clients. That's how I can help you get the clients that matter. Because again, if you're doing the $99 press release or the $5 lead page or the $2 email, it just really gets me. I see a lot of talented copywriters who are doing 50 cents a word, and they're excited. Oh my gosh, they're just delighted. They got 50 cents a word. Well, on a 1,000-word blog post, and again, if you're trading words for dollars in your client's mind, they're going to limit the number of words they need. And we know that in the buying process of the majority of the people online, offline, anywhere, they aren't once and done. You don't go on a date with a beautiful woman and first night say, let's get in bed. Now, if they do jump in bed first night, they're not really that quality of a girl if they're going to be doing that. You understand that socially, but when we apply that to our selling efforts or what we allow our customers do as far as their selling efforts, the once and done is a fantasy. It does happen. You could have just one sales letter solve all your problems, but it's more effective, takes less time and resources to have a sales campaign that has headlines that you're testing. Now, you might not be testing your headlines on your landing page, the sales letter itself. You may be testing them with blog posts, with email messages. You're looking at open rates and converting open rates into a headline test or A/B splits. There is definitely more to doing it right than there is to just doing it. Unfortunately, many people will ad hoc approach their marketing campaigns. And so if you package what is a marketing campaign into a system, you're able to produce methodology that you can repeat over and over again. So the bingo card method I put together, it literally has a bingo card that helps the user do better and more effective research for their copy. Then it applies that research into a model that is the typical, it's not the only way, but it is the typical framework for a marketing campaign. So for example, it has in the front end, when all you know about the person is their search interest, it has blog posts, social media posts, pay-per-click, even postcards that go out to targeted lists of individuals. Okay, so we're not just throwing this up on a website and hoping somebody shows up. See, if you're doing that, again, you're a commodity copywriter, you're a commodity marketer, and your clients are only going to pay commodity prices. If you want larger assignments, more consistent assignments, assignments that can actually pay your bills without you going crazy, then again, package up what you do into some kind of method, into some kind of approach. Now, many times I will help clients package these things up, and then we'll sell either proprietary systems or literally it's the same system with different names. The bingo card method that I've developed here is going to be available on ad briefings, but let me just explain what I did. I wrote down problems, pains, solution, and then the action I'm recommending. I wrote down a giant list of benefits. Before I'm done with it, I'll write a giant list of headlines. I went in and started outlining the methodology using a flow chart. What do they do first? What do they do next? What do they do after that? Then I go back and I think about the benefits of each step. Am I saving them time? Am I helping them have what we call stop gates? So a lot of times somebody will start working on a marketing campaign, and then they'll stop, and then they'll forget about it, and then they'll go off and do something else. The majority of your clients had very effective marketing at one time that got them to where they are today, but now, unfortunately, they've been distracted by shiny objects, and now they want something new when what they had was just fine, and we could enhance it if we had a system. So I show them the campaign framework that goes from prospect to presenting a lead page, because again, when you can show the customer they've gotten leads, and we can put those leads on a list, it makes it easier to feed audience segmentation. It makes it easier to buy mailing lists. It makes it easier to do a lot of things if they have their own leads generated. Then from that, we have a sales letter. So we have the sales presentation. Again, that sales letter could be their script. Are you writing scripts? Are you writing video sales letters? Are you writing written sales letters? Are you writing other types of things? Well, what if they were testing the modalities of learning of their prospects by having both a video sales letter and a print sales letter or a landing page sales letter? Do you see how this works? Because you're presenting to the customer a framework of activities that is measurable, that is focused, that is scalable in many cases, because in this case, after you generate a lead, it has a welcome letter, and then it has a series of emails that are meant to be for inquirers, people who are inquiring about a product or service or inquiring about a particular problem, that always leads to, again, the sales letter itself. That sales letter will receive organic traffic. It will receive paid traffic. It will receive residual traffic that comes from leads that are inside your system. It'll get highlighted by your prospect newsletter. All of these elements help the client get a fuller, more valuable, and useful marketing system rather than ad hoc pieces. Now remember, your clients want to buy ad hoc, and sometimes they have a framework in place. So you do want to determine what they've got going on for them already, which again is consulting services, which is other things than just writing. It's turning the research that you have to do naturally into paid services. But what happens here is they can understand that there's two ways of looking at it. The client who has a framework for selling, if you come in and you suggest a framework for selling, it is congruent with what they know to be true and what they've seen results come from. And so they're going to trust you more, and they're going to want to hire you. And they'll plug you into their system. For clients that are doing it ad hoc, they're very much frustrated because they don't get consistent results, because they don't have their own media, because they haven't built their own mailing list, because they're guessing most of the time. So when you bring them framework, they're going to get instant relief and be able to get better results. Now again, who you choose as a client matters. If you're choosing somebody who just stumbled across your website and who wants to get 2 sales letters and a lead generation piece, and they're acting like they're ordering from McDonald's, they're not willing to do assessments, they're not really willing to talk to you in any depth about what their goals and objectives are, they just want more sales, then it's a difficult customer. If you end up with a customer or a client who has a very low transaction value and they're going to make it up in volume, well, you better get your money up front, because unless they've got a proven product or service and an international market, when things like inflation come along, when things like a bad economy come along, the volume is going to go away. Even Sears Roebuck that had a catalog pretty much in every home. There are so many Sears Roebuck catalogs out in the marketplace that people were using them as toilet paper in the early 1900s. Okay? Their reach was massive, yet they barely exist today because they didn't have the systems in place in order to sustain the changes in the market as well as the changes in their audience desires. So, when you deliver to the customer, whether you package it in a methodology or you adapt things that you've done in the past that you know work, you're now giving the customer something of value. I can say to you, I could have whole webinars about the bingo card method, the benefits of the bingo card method, the approach of the bingo card method, the contrast and comparison between bingo card and any other way of creating content and delivering for customers the research that is necessary to have consistent and regular marketing campaigns. See, the exercise itself is somewhat product development. So rather than you selling an enigma of copywriting services, you're now selling the ability to generate leads. You're selling the ability to produce sales. You're selling the analytics that's tied to that. Now, I know a lot of you guys are saying all you want to do is write. That's okay. Writers make $20,000, $30,000 a year, and someone who's using systems and somebody who's building agency is going to hire you and pay you minimum wage. And then from there, they're going to make the money. They're going to have the clients. They're going to have the longevity. They're going to be able to provide to their family. They're going to be able to deliver with confidence systems that work. And you're going to be happy just doing your freelance work. That's fine. I don't have anything against that. I hope you're enjoying the content that teaches you how to write better copy. But what I'm saying is that better copy doesn't matter if you don't have a framework to put it in front of customers or to even demonstrate by generating leads in your own environment. But ultimately, you don't have an interested party, what Gary Halbert calls the hungry crowd, if you don't know how to cultivate tools that sometimes automatically, because a lot of the marketing automation today is very good, it doesn't fill out well if you don't have a framework, if you don't have a system. Now, I know we have a variety of copywriters here at Ad Briefings. We have copywriters that are experienced in the marketplace, and we've been talking about the business of copywriting. You're going to have systems in your own business, and you're going to have systems that you package and offer to your clients. But we've also got brand new copywriters who should adopt the system. For example, grab Dan Kennedy's The Ultimate Sales Letter and just start there as your system. But what we want to do for clients is we want to get them into understandable, demonstratable, and measurable marketing systems. Russell Brunson calls them sales funnels. There's different ways of calling these things. What I'm getting to you is that you can create a proprietary way, the Sandler sales system, and then you're offering something rather than just to write copy for people, rather than to just generate more leads. You have a system for generating leads that is measurable, that is repeatable, that is easy to delegate, that is something that can be automated. This is how you go from piecemeal, ad hoc, work for hire, to developing an asset in your business that you can repeatedly leverage for your clients to help them increase their sales, reduce their costs, and boost marketing return on investment. I'm seeing more and more advertisements about return on advertising spend. If you're not showing your customers how to know where they're getting profits and how to know where they're getting leads and having clean and proper lead and sales attribution, you will be left behind. Again, a great way of doing this is to create methodologies and systems. This bingo card method I've put together, I've simply used a method that we use to create the binders that we talk about, the customer profile and targeting binders. And I've added some new developments in artificial intelligence that helps you avoid the problems with artificial intelligence, which is robotic writing. Again, you're up against artificial intelligence these days. People can just go write a sales letter. Okay, it doesn't mean the sales letter actually works. It's no different than hiring somebody in India to write a sales letter. And for my India folks, nothing meant by that. Your guys are leveling up over there much faster than the American audience. But my point being, if a customer just wants a piece of copy, they can get a piece of copy. Somebody can fart and create enough copy for someone who is ill-informed to use. And, of course, waste a bunch of dollars because they don't have a system, because they don't have a framework, because they don't have the practical knowledge that you have about marketing. But they think they got something. and now they're harder to close next time around. There are products and services that have their period of time, like Sears Roebucks, that are making money hand over fist, and then they get complacent. Then Montgomery Ward comes in. Then Walmart comes in. Then Amazon comes in. You can help these people develop systems in their environment that you're plugging copy into on long-term contracts rather than one-off deals, and ultimately better creating cash flow in your business and cash flow in your customer's business. You might even be able to get on residual revenue terms where you're getting a percentage of the deal plus your fees. Don't just go on the percentage of the deal. And really make for yourself a solid marketing agency, 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure agency, using systems that are repeatable, that are measurable, that can be implemented using automation, that can leverage very easily the new tools of artificial intelligence, but do so in a way that generates leads and produces sales. Again, I do this very well because I train myself to do it. There is no innate ability that made it possible for me to look at how somebody does their work, write it down in a procedural, and then find ways to make it better. Okay? You can do that looking at your customers' control or their best sales letters and derive something to test. Let's get past the one-off. Let's get past the trading words for dollars or hours for dollars. Let's get you in a position where you're a value-added professional in their organization, sometimes even replacing their lead copywriters or their lead team people, and really just building out their marketing department under your umbrella so that you can deliver value to them, consistency in your cash revenue, and ultimately the agency that pays whether or not you can work. I want to get you from active income to passive income. The agency is the only way. How do you get to agency? You get there using frameworks, methods, and systems, and we can teach you how. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. If you're finally ready to get serious about 5-figure contracts, to start having service agreements and regular income, to have the agency that a small, and again, I'm not talking about you having 1,000 people in an office or 500 people in the office or even 10 people in the office. I'm talking about agency and performance that comes through structure. Then visit us at www.adbriefings.co.uk. Go to the contact page to ask your questions, and those who ask questions tend to get more from the newsletter. Or if you're not already a part of the newsletter, go to the newsletter. It's all in navigation, easy to find, and this is your first test. If you can't follow navigation to find the opt into a newsletter or to ask a question, then you don't deserve to be here. I'm sorry to say, but again, it's not that hard to learn how to do these systems. Implement systems in your own environment will give you experience, and then when you start doing that with clients, it's 5-figure contracts, it's 6-figure contracts, it's service of value that they can measure and create results from. You'll feel more confident, you'll have better cash flow, and you'll enjoy the business of copywriting so much more. Thanks for listening and being a part of this podcast. I look forward to hearing from you in the future, and I love those success stories. Keep them coming, because those who implement get results. Everybody else who just contemplates and learns, well, they fall behind, and good luck to you. Again, I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips.